Hey, what's going on, G-Ballers? Today, I have an interesting new knife here to share with you coming in from Hightron. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome to G-Ball Vision. Drop a comment down below and let me know what your EDC is for today. If you're not familiar with Hightron, in 2025, they have put out some really cool, interesting models on the more affordable and premium side, and they've had some really crazy ones. We'll take a look at one of those here in a moment, but this is going to be in their more affordable side of the catalog. They're going to come in around $40. This is the Hightron Birdidi. We have a drop point blade, and it's going to be coming in D2. PVD coated. They also have uncoated blades, and I believe they have at least one or two other colors you can get with the handle. We have a deep carry right hand only pocket clip. It is recessed and the screws are as well. We have the Hightron there on the pocket clip. I could do without that, but we are talking about a $40 knife. We have no branding on the blade, just their little logo there on the pivot. And then we have a button plunge lock here, and off that first flick, this has some good spring tension in there, giving you a pretty satisfying opening action for a button plunge lock. We are perfectly centered up there. Yeah, you can get a good wind up on this knife here, and there's plenty of room to come underneath for a reverse flick. Easy to get to. Those studs are good size. And the cherry on top for me, typically when I hear 40 bucks and D2, I'm not real inclined to take a look at it. Now, when you factor in, this is going to be coming with anodized aluminum handles, then that kind of changes the game up a little bit for me, at least personally, especially if we're going to be getting a good quality D2, which I don't expect anything less out of Hightron. They deal with quite a variety of different steels. And like I said, they do have uncoated and coated blades, so you have a couple of options for finishes with the blade and the handle. As far as the size of this bad boy, we're going to be looking at about 6 13/16 overall. We have about 2 3/4 of cutting edge, and we're at about 2 7/8 of total blade. To put that in better perspective, we have the Kaiser Drop Bear and Vostede Raccoon here for comparison, and you'll see that the Birdidi here is more in line with something like the Drop Bear. And here we go up against the Benchmade Bug Out and the Spyderco Para 3. Going to be more in line with something like the Bug Out, but just a touch thinner in nature. We'll go ahead and bust out one of the new G-Ball Vision Hanks from 50 Ways, and we'll take a look at this pocket clip here and see what we got for retention, see what it looks like in the pocket, and it's going to carry pretty deep, actually very deep. You can see how the clip rounds over after the butt end of the knife, and that's what we would start to consider an ultra deep carry, and some people really fancy that. They want that. I don't mind either way. I think, you know, if I have a knife like this, I definitely have a place for it. But, you know, for something I'm going to be using all the time, I don't mind a little bit poking out, but that's not to say a deep carry don't work for that as well. Carried many deep carry knives at work, and that has good retention on it. Very easy to get that underneath the clip there, that seam, and you can see there's plenty of room under there for even very thick seams. So that is a well done pocket clip. It's not anything insanely fancy, but sometimes things don't have to be that way if they just work very well. We'll go ahead and we'll get the arch nemesis out here, and we'll give this a good old weight check. We like to guess the weight here on the channel. I invite all of you to play along. Put your guess down in the comments what you think the Birdidi here weighs in at. I'm going to give it a go here. I've had a pretty good like 5 or 6 in a row where I was 0.1 off or dead on. So I'm on a winning streak right now, and it's bound to come to an end sooner or later. So I'm going to say that it's pretty light. It's down in the twos. Let's say 2.8. 2.9. Oh, there it is. There it is. Way off for me. That's way off. 0.8. That's just unacceptable. But that's what it is. 60 grams for everyone else. So, yeah, considerably light. I don't know why I was thinking 2.9. I guess, these are a little bit thicker. It kind of just gives the idea that it has a little bit more heft to it than it does. And I don't see any steel liners in there, so we are just talking straight aluminum, which some people really enjoy that, and then some people don't. They want the steel in there. Just kind of depends on where you fall. Some people are worried about the plunge in the aluminum there, and we've yet to see any real information on plunge locks just being in the aluminum only. So, it's kind of up in the air as far as durability goes. I'm going to say because it's basically on a track, you know what I mean? It can't go anywhere. So I just don't see it being a huge issue anytime soon, right? Those are just opinions, though, of a madman. So we'll go ahead and we'll get the old calipers out here and we'll give this a little check. We're at 10 millimeters for our handle thickness, 0.42. We have 117 thousandths there for the blade stock, as well as 2.99 millimeters, I should say, not meters. That would be a hell of a blade stock. 0.47 millimeters and 18 thousandths. Ooh, coming down there pretty thin, are we? And it's got a decent blade stock to it as well. D2, not the toughest steel in the world, but it's okay. Corrosion resistance is all right, and it's got good edge retention. So, for a inexpensive folding knife, it's definitely going to be better than something just marked stainless steel. Or you got a real good knife. You have a real good knife if you have one that says surgical stainless. Then it's top of the line premium, good. It's got that good. Surgical stainless is ridiculous. But we live in a day and a world where D2 is talked down on by many, and that's to do with a lot of creators bad mouthing it. And it has a bad name in some cases with some people where the steel itself isn't actually at fault. It's companies portraying steels as D2 when they're really not. They are some form of Afghani truck steel or something like that. But, good quality D2 that's well done, like a K110 kind of, similarity there to K110 Bowler structure. That's going to give you good performance all around for EDC, using it for a work knife, things like that. Because it is fairly tough, it's okay. It's got decent edge retention, especially with a proper finish or coating on the blade. It'll be fine in most cases, unless it's extra humid there, right? Which people know that already, but you add in the PVD coating, and that changes the ball game up a little bit. I wanted to bring out the older brother to this knife here. This is out of their premium line, and you can see where I was saying that they can go a little crazy sometimes, but they pull it off as well. The edge play is full of little features. You got a little fidget in here, titanium handle. clip hardware. You got a crazy blade here. I forget what the steel even is. It's some sort of infused steel, copper infused steel. I could be wrong. I'll pop it up on the screen what it is exactly. But an interesting little knife there, and that has been close by ever since pulling it out of the box. So they can do some cool stuff, and they really do have a premium touch. They do work with, or one of the two. They are in relation with tack ray, knock knives, and that whole ordeal over there. So you're going to be getting good machining and good quality from Hightron, no matter where you buy from out of their catalog. Now we'll switch gears and go to the hardware and see what we're looking at. And interesting here, we have a non-tooled pivot and then no hardware. So that really keeps that looking nice and clean. As far as the pivot on the tooled side, we're looking at T8 there. And it looks to be T6 on the pocket clip, which it is. And yeah, that one is going through all the way into that scale right there. I'm interested. I wonder if they have metal inserts in. Well, no, I wonder if they do or don't. That could prove to be an issue if that's just machined into the aluminum and you have a steel screw. That could prove to be an issue over time, over a decent amount of time. Screwing and unscrewing that top screw if you were to take this apart a bunch of times. But that's just being extremely cautious, as I just have to bring it up. As far as the sharpening choil goes, I'm no expert sharpener, but it looks like the plunge should have been brought back quite a bit. There might be a little bit of sharpening life in there, but it doesn't look to be very good. You'll have to let me know what you think. I think this should be brought way back here. And then, then you would have a nice, large sharpening choil. But who am I to say? I am no expert in the sharpness, edge, thingy-majiggy category. But I am an expert at smacking the shit out of folding knives on a wood board. So we're going to go to that here next, and we're going to get the spine whacker out. The spine whacker makes its way off of the toolbox and onto the table for the 500th time. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know how many it's been. That would be interesting to know. I'll have to see if I can figure that out. What we're going to do is, if you're not familiar, just make sure this is staying locked up properly. It feels good up and down and side to side. We'll give it a couple of taps here up towards the tip. Ooh, I gotta say, I didn't have a ton of faith. So, okay. Whoops. Those are some pretty good shots. I'm going to give it a triple tap here, and that can sometimes catch them. Okay. I'm not gonna fight you, buddy. Good. That's, I'm kind of surprised, to be honest with you. I wasn't sure what to expect. I was thinking there's a good possibility that fails. But companies seem to have that nailed down when it comes to lockup. And I'm telling you that because I have checked every single button lock that has come out over the last 2 years. I have checked 98% of them, and have there been a couple that have failed? A couple over those 2 years. But for the most part, and especially over the last year, they have just tremendously gotten better. Is it the toughest lock and so on? No, it's not the toughest, but it is a fun lock, and when it's done properly, you got good springs in there to give a good, satisfying deployment like this. It's good to go, in my opinion. If it's going to stay locked up, at least, in most cases, unless you're using it to, run a nail into a tree or something, I think you're going to be pretty good for the most part, especially if you have any sort of brains at all, any intelligence level. You know what the limitations are for a folding knife. So, and a button lock at that, it's not something you want to take out and ream into a tree. So they're all things considered, and try to see things from all perspectives. Do I know that this would be better in a button compression lock or a pivot lock? Sure, I do. I think this is an older design as well, and it's a more affordable knife. So, I expect to see other things here in the future from Hightron that, is bringing in those button compression locks and things of that nature, different locks. You'll have to let me know, what do you think of what you have seen from Hightron so far? Let me know if this is the first thing you have seen from them or the first two. I look forward to hearing from you. Let me know if this is something you could see fitting into your rotation, or is the edge play more your speed? I'll have links to both these knives down in the description if you want to check them out. I'm going to pop a couple of new videos up on your screen. Make sure you click that G-Ball Vision logo if you're not subscribed. I release videos like this every day. I'd love to have you here. Thank you for watching. I will catch you on the next one.